So, welcome back to the continuation of the banded set class. So, we are considering the properties of supremum and infimum. Although we have stated one of it in the first one, where we say that if you have two subsets that are banded, so we have seen that infimum of B is less than or equal to infimum of A, and then supremum of A is less than or equal to supremum of B. So you have stated that. So let's consider another theorem. Let's consider another property. So we state it in a theorem and prove it. So the theorem, you say that let A be this set and B be this set, be banded subsets of real number R. Then supremum of A plus B is equal to this. Supremum of infimum of A, this A plus B is greater than this. So let's prove the first one. Now, since A and B are bounded by completeness axiom, they must have supremum and infimum. So let's write that. So they must have supremum and infimum in it by completeness axiom. So in this case, let us see that let small a be, let's say it is supremum of A, and let small b, let it be supremum of B. So by definition, so this will implies that S is less than or equal to A, and let me pick another element in B. Y is less than or equal to B. So for every, we pick the S in A and we pick Y in B. From this place, let's add it together. If you add it together, we are going to have S plus Y is less than or equal to A plus B. I'm adding both sides. This plus this is less than or equal to A plus this. Now, what we have written here by definition of upper bound, that since S and Y are both from A and B, that simply means that A plus B is an upper bound for A plus B. You know, this is how we write, that is how we write this, the definition of upper bound, because S plus Y, S belongs to A and Y belongs to B. So that simply means that what we found here means A plus B is an upper bound of this. And what that simply means is that A plus B will be greater than the supremum of A plus this capital letter A plus capital letter B. Why is it so? We know that A small letter A plus B is an upper bound. Supremum of this is an upper bound of this set here. Why supremum will be the least of this upper bound? So definitely this A plus B, although it's an upper bound, supremum is also an upper bound, but this supremum will be less than this, because upper bound is always greater or equal to, because supremum means the lowest upper bound. So in this case, we can have that supremum A plus B is less than, if you interchange it, and what is our A? A is this, B is this. So our A is sub A and our B is sub B. So we have proved the first one. So that simply, here we can conclude. We can conclude and say that supremum of A plus B is also equal to supremum A plus supremum B. So this is another property. So it is immediate from consequence of this one. So we can conclude that supremum A plus B is equal to supremum A plus supremum B. So let's prove the second one. So we follow the same proof. You can say that let A be equal to infimum of A and let B be equal to infimum of B. So by definition, so there exists S belong to A, and let's say Y belongs to B, such that S is greater than or equal to A because of infimum, and Y is greater than or equal to small letter b. If you add it together, we are going to have S plus Y is greater than or equal to A plus B for all S belong to A, or let's say for all S plus Y belong to A plus B. Now, by what we wrote here, by definition of lower bound, that simply means that S plus Y is the lower bound of the set A plus B. Because by definition of lower bound, this is how we write it. If you take element in it, it will be greater than or equal to the number we are talking about. Now, since it's a lower bound will always be greater than infimum. So the lower bound, it will always be less than the infimum. Why? Because infimum simply means the greatest lower bound, the greatest of all of them. So that simply means that this lower bound here will always be less than or equal to the infimum of A plus B, because infimum simply means greatest lower bound. So, and greatest lower bound will be greater than this upper bounds here. Sorry, it will be greater than this lower bound. And what does that mean? We have our x. Sorry, I said S plus Y, A plus B. Sorry, it is this one that we are talking about, A plus B. Now, what's our A? Our A is infimum of A, plus our B is infimum of B, which is be less than or equal to this. So that simply means that infimum of A plus B will be greater than or equal to inf A plus inf B. So also we can conclude that infimum of A plus B is equal to inf A plus inf B. So that completes the proof of the theorem. So this is the theorem we are proving. Inf A is greater than or equal to that. So let's take another theorem. For the theorem, let's consider this lemma and let's take note of this. So the lemma says, if a set of real number, if S is a set of real number, and let's assume that we are giving epsilon a number. Epsilon is a small number there, which is greater than 0. Let it be given. Assuming that we have a small number that is given, then we say that if S has a supremum, then for some element inside this S, this small letter S will be greater than supremum of S minus that epsilon. Why if it is infimum? If S has infimum, then the S we are talking about will be less than infimum of S plus epsilon. So that will lead us to the following theorem. We have the theorem here. Let S be a subset of real number which is bounded. Then infimum of S is equal to this, supremum of S. Here now, we are finding a way of finding infimum using supremum. Now, so solution, the first one, I can say that since S is bounded below, then S must have infimum. So that is by completeness axiom. So in this case, let alpha be equal to infimum of X. So then by definition, S will be, since it's infimum, S will be greater than or equal to alpha for every S belonging to this X. Let's call this equation 1. And by this lemma here, the lemma says that if S has an infimum, then for some S in this, S will be less than the infimum of s plus this. So also we know that if we are given epsilon is greater than 0, so by our lemma 1, the lemma we just showed now, by our lemma 1, so we say that there exists, let's say there exists another element y inside this. We have written it there, or let me still use the s. Another element, there exists s inside this. We put it there that s is less than infimum of s plus epsilon, or let's pick another element y is less than infimum of s plus epsilon. That is from this place. We have quoted the theorem there. Now here we will see that alpha is less than or equal to x. So which is this? This implies that alpha is less than or equal to y, and our y is less than infimum of s minus plus this. So that is equation 2. So in this case now, we can write this 1 and 2 as this. We can write it as, if I multiply both sides by minus, this will be minus s. If I multiply both sides by minus, that will be minus s is, no, if you multiply this by this, sign we change here. For all minus s belongs to minus this. Also, this second one here, this one, the second one too will be written. If I multiply both sides by minus, this will come forward. So this will be minus infimum of s. Don't forget that our infimum of s is alpha. So let me write alpha. This is minus alpha minus epsilon. So it will be less than minus y, and that will be less than or equal to minus alpha. So we have multiplied both sides by this. So for all minus y belongs to minus s. So these two conditions, what they simply means is that minus alpha, and you know that anytime we have less than or equal to, that simply means that we are dealing with supremum. This simply means that minus alpha is equal to supremum of the set. This is a set. Supremum of minus s. 6, we are having less than or equal to there. Now, minus alpha. What's our alpha? Infimum of s. Infimum of s equal to supremum of minus s. If you take the minus to the other side, we have minus supremum of minus s, and that completes the proof. That is what we have to prove. So let's prove the second one too. So we say here that since s is bounded above, then s must have supremum as well by completeness axiom. So we have known that before. And so in this case too, let us represent let's say beta now. Let's say beta is equal to supremum of s. So then by definition, so this will imply, by definition, this will imply that s is a supremum. So we use less than or equal to for all s belongs to our capital letter S. Now, by this lemma, the lemma says that if S has a supremum for some this, then S will be greater than sup S minus epsilon. Sup S minus epsilon. So that means we would now say that if given epsilon is greater than 0, let's say there exists y belonging to S, such that we say that y, let me call this equation 1, y will be, according to what we have there, y will be greater than sup S minus epsilon, which we can write as we know here that this is less than beta. So in this case, I can say that sub s minus epsilon is less than y. Then y will be less than our beta according to this one, which we can just write that beta minus epsilon, because supremum is our beta, is less than y, is less than or equal to beta. So this is for all y belongs to s. This is equation 2. Now 1 and 2 can be written as, so this 1 and 2 can be written as minus x is greater than or equal to minus beta. We have multiplied both sides by minus. So for all minus s belongs to minus capital letter S there. Also, this second one here, if you multiply both sides by minus here, it will change too. So this will come forward. This will be minus beta is less than minus y. Sorry, it's less than or equal to minus y. Then it's strictly less than minus beta plus epsilon. So, and anytime we have greater than like this is definition of the infimum. So this will simply means that minus beta is the infimum, or definite infimum of minus s. But we know that our beta is supremum of s. So this is minus supremum of s is infimum of minus s. So this implies that sub s is equal to minus infimum of s. So, and that completes the proof. So, the theorem. Let S be a bounded subset of R, of a real number R. Then if you take any number inside that R, supremum of that set S plus that alpha is a constant there. So, but S is a set, alpha is constant. So, supremum of S plus this is equal to this. So, this should be very easy using our theorem too. Now, you can prove it like this. This S can be written, we know that it can be written as S plus alpha plus minus alpha, because alpha plus minus by our axiom. This is 0, but this is our axiom 6. I saw it. I could still remember. So it will be 0. This is additive inverse. Now, if you take sup of both sides, we have sup S is equal to sup S plus alpha plus minus alpha. And by the theorem we prove by our theorem 2, no, this will be sup S plus alpha plus sup minus alpha. So this will give me sup S plus alpha, but this is a constant. Alpha is a constant. So supremum of a constant is still the constant. So in this case, it is just minus alpha, because it's the supremum of an alpha. So in this, so what we are going to have will now be supremum of S is equal to, I told you we can say that is equal to 2 is sup S plus alpha minus alpha. So if you make this one the same formula, this will imply that sup S plus alpha will be equal to, if you take this minus alpha to the other side, we have alpha plus sup S. So, and that completes the proof. So we have shown this. So there are many other properties. You can see that sup alpha S is alpha sup S. So which you can go and learn. Sup alpha is alpha and so on. So go and learn another property. So, and have a nice day.